Hello kiddos, and welcome to a quick rundown of multiplying by one-digit numbers. Okay, we're just gonna get right started. Okay, so when we're talking about multiplying by a one-digit number, we're talking about multiplying a multi-digit number, say 1,328. Yes, I realize that's a four-digit number, but we're gonna multiply that, keyword there is by a one-digit number. So we need to be able to multiply 1,328 by 4. Okay, there's several different ways we can do this. The first way would be by what we call partial products. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to lock it into place. And we'll talk about this in a couple of different ways. The first way would be partial products. Now remember, 1,328 is the result of 1,000 plus 300 plus 20 plus 8. All of those added together would equal the 1,328. So if we just take that concept and we multiply them all one at a time by 4, 1,000 times 4, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. 300 by 4, well, 3 times 4 is 12, so that would be 12 hundredths, which is 1,200. 2 times 4 is 8, so 20 times 4 is going to get us 80, and 8 times 4 is 32. So we now have our partial products. We took this number and we put it into expanded form, 1,000 plus 300 plus 20 plus 8. And then we found the partial products there by multiplying them all one at a time by 4, which is a lot simpler. And then all we need to do is come back in and add them all together. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2, that's a hard one. 8 plus 3 is 11. Remember, I've got to regroup my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So our answer would then be 5,312. That is our partial products way of solving this. In a sense, we're using, if you recall, the distributive property, because I took this number, 1,000 plus 300. I'm just going to write this a little bit differently, in a bit different format, so I can show you how this represented the distributive property. 1,000 plus 300 plus 20 plus 8. So I then multiplied that all by 4. Now remember, when I do this, the 4 can distribute itself, so we end up doing 4 times 1,000, 4 times 300, 4 times 20, and 4 times 8. Okay, that is the partial products method of doing this. Now, in the end, we came to simplify that just a little bit more by just doing the math problem on its own. Now, if we take this a step at a time, again, you can think about this as partial products. 8 times 4 is 32. 20 times 4 is 80. Now, this is having to remember place value, because this 3 is not 3, it's actually 300, because it's a 3 in the hundredths place. So 3 times 4 is 12, so 12 hundredths, or 1,200, and 4,000 from the 1,000 times 4. So again, we see our partial products there, where we end up with a 2, an 11, a 3, and a 5. 5,312. Again, that's partial products, but we're getting now closer to our standard algorithm for math, or for multiplying. Okay, so again, we're going to think about this. Now this, we're going to go back and take a look at this for just a minute. I think I want to do these two side by side so you can really see 1,328 times 4. I want you to see side by side how much the standard algorithm is the same thing. So 8 times 4 was 32. But rather than writing the 32 down here, we're just going to keep the ones, and we're going to regroup and put those above the tens. So now 20 times 4 is 80. Now remember, I've got 30 that I need to add to that. So that's going to be 110. So 20 times 4 is 80. So 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, now again, I can't write 11 down here. I'm going to write my 1, and I'm going to regroup into the hundreds. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Regroup my 1 again. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So you can see how we then take the distributive property there, our partial products, and we turn it into our standard algorithm. So let's take a look at this and maybe do one more. Let's see. We'll lock that and delete that. So let's just take a look at one more. What if we were to do 6,225, and we multiply that by 5. I'm going to show you this again in both partial products and standard algorithm. So I'll put those side by side. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so again, if we did that over here, we do 5 times 5 is 25, but we're going to take the 5 and regroup the 2. 20 times 5 is 100. So here we're going to do 2 times 10 plus 2 is 12. I'm going to put my 2. I'm going to carry my 1. So now if you notice, I've got my 1 here, 1 there, 25, 25. So far you can kind of see the correlation. We're now in the hundreds. 200 times 5 is 1,000. So we're going to write out our 1,000. We have 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. That puts my 1 down and carries my 1. So I've got my 1 up here, and then my 125, 125. And then our last digit there, 6,000 times 5. Well, 6 times 5 is 30. So 6,000 times 5 is going to be 30,000s, or just 30,000. Now here, 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. So 31,125. And if you take a look at this, we have a 5, we have a 2, we have a 1, we have a 1, and we have a 3. 31,125. When you're multiplying by a one-digit number, I don't care which way you do it. If you still want to do the partial products, or if you want to simplify that, you can see there's a whole lot less writing over here, but ultimately we get to the same answer. I do have some practice problems set up. If you want to click on the link to go to that, or if you're working out of the packet, feel free to do that. We'll have 3 different Zoom meetings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Peace and love, guys.